Welcome to another episode of Live with Lizzy, coming to you straight from drizzly Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you so much for joining for some afternoon poetry. Let's dive right in with the first poem titled Let Us Rise. We all just want to see the sky. I was taught to observe by wiser kin. I lived for too long as flat land and learned too well the shape of hungry wind. Today I'm trending Rubenesque, all glacier-rounded mountains where the air is crisp and fresh. An ancient black cat sits on my soft lap. To hold our elders safe is privilege. We all deserve a shot to see the sky. I close my eyes and dream of molting birds. The news tells me that Trump is building camps, but not to worry, little girl. Only the very worst will be so damned. Good sir, do you mean the ones who got trapped between death's robe and taking a chance? We all just want to stroll and sniff the wind. I remember the pictures from back in the day, when we got scared after 9/11 and folks disappeared to Guantanamo Bay. I saw bloodied and bruised faces. I saw gaunt and rubbed raw wrists. Surely this time we can do better than that shit. We all just want a shot to rise, unmolested by bizarre jealousies. No one protesting just because we exist. Nothing in the air but the perfume of bodies, witnessed by nothing but soft and loving eyes. We all just want to breathe. My generation was supposed to be the future, but the past wouldn't step aside, wouldn't die, and it's wonderful that they're all still here, but they won't make room for us. Why not build our families homes instead of camps? Why not give us a fighting chance? We wanted to do more. We wanted to succeed. We took a look at the state of the world and we all got IUDs. We're trying to get up off of our knees. We all deserve a shot to see the sky. Please just let us rise. There's a trick to it. My trusty ride died a few days ago. It ran full speed right until it burned out. It passed in the middle of the commute, far from the end of its natural life. The folks at the shop tactfully told me that rehabbing my pink sticker-clad steed would cost more than a good used replacement, and left it to me to choose my own way. I loved them for the lack of pressure and the time to think the shop guys allowed me. In those moments, I thought of my father and his parade of decayed pickup trucks, bodies already well worn at the point they reached his hands and experienced him, a man who thought he could stop how time rusts. I saw myself tripping down that same path, always making do, having to recall how there's a trick to it, which is really poverty language for we can't afford to repair this, which is unbearable, so we'll pretend it's a skill set others should envy to make our way of life work. I politely declined the repair and looked instead for a new scooter to ride, something that would carry me down the road instead of asking me to bear its weight. Roots, leaves, flowers. Sometimes, on bright winter afternoons, when the sun through the buildings has that certain glint, I pause my task and gather the courage to ask, what is my body doing right now, exactly as this minute ticks? Am I growing out my roots, seeking the shelter of those who came before, the creatures and plants who decomposed and became the forest floor? Am I still enough to feel the plates of the earth shift? Can my toes find sand? Can they dig deep enough to become warm? Am I growing out my leaves, taking up at least enough space to meet my needs, being the shade to the smaller plants that would burn in the sun, turning the light into something that steeps, unfurling fearlessly, climbing with all the strength I've won, creating oxygen for my fellow creatures to breathe? Am I growing out my flowers, creating something so gorgeous that the world cannot help but pluck it, bringing forth something to press between pages to mark the days, flinging something forward into the future that will carry my name into the land of I'm enough, crafting something worthy to place with a kiss on my father's grave, one that I visit in my mind in times when I feel stuck in shit, when I want to throw up my hands and say fuck it? Or am I spending time as fallow ground? A plant that lives in rich soil and good light yields the biggest fruit. When was the last time I treated my body like hallowed ground? Feed me, and I will feed you back if given the chance. Starve me, and I become the worst version of myself. With proper attendance, soil and body, each return to health. Thank you so much to everyone who's joining. I'm reading from some older poems right now. And after I finish up with these, I'm going to read from my new book that is just about ready to be released for purchase. So here we go. Continuing on, this is titled Gray. To the shining gray hair that still has not come to me yet, I sing to you each night. I know you're near. Where is your nest? I searched books for a spell to get rid of my oldest pain. Pages saying, girl, just let it go. There's no need to confess. Walk alone into the forest where you left me sleeping. Find me building my fire. I finally got enough rest. Inside whose permission am I searching to settle down? Whose sword must knight my shoulders before I feel I am blessed? Add foot of crow to the cauldron while I'm stooping down low. No reason to wear out rough knees no longer at their best. I crave the gray so folks will believe that I am no child. To be frozen at 25 is a blessing, crowd says. If childhood had been safe, then perhaps I'd want to stay there. But I was dying until I got my own insurance. I was taught that getting married was unavoidable, but nobody knelt and asked me to put on a white dress. A brick alone is still a brick. It can be many things. It must not fear the mortar and the trowel. They are friends. But Lizzy, who will care for you when you are old and gray? My strong community. Certainly they will pass the test. Streets make no sense. I am the witch who was promised to Cambridge long ago, back when Harvard Square was in Newtown all those years ago. The ox pasture, the pine swamp field, the cow common, the marsh. My sister ancestors lived where the clear Charles River flowed. Less clear with time, both river and simplicity of life. Pollution likes to hide the knowledge that we seek to know. I'll ride no ducking chair. I bet those women said it too, right up until the moment when their slim wrists felt the rope. I am living the what would I have been timeline, the one where I have no children, the one where I don't get betrothed. Perhaps there was a woman running wild along the Charles, who had brown hair and green eyes like me, one who wore men's clothes. Power invades like a weed, picks its way through cracks in walls, seeks the least resistant way into quiet garden rows. Sister, how could you give my name as fare for redemption? I pulled your rosy babies from your between the legs hole. Boston witches went underground after Goody Glover. Street-level shame will crush as completely as heavy stones. The clan begs holy, reaches for the hands of those they lost. It's possible to be correct, even when you're alone. I fly across the town, my skirts unmuddied, wheels unmired. My scooter's not a broomstick, but same spiritual bones. Cambridge and Somerville, your streets make no sense, and still I cannot imagine calling any other cities home. Aw, thank you, Sam. So those were some poems from some recent posts. Moving on now, I'm going to read to you from my book titled Give It a Home. This is a collection of 100 sonnets that I wrote over a pretty rowdy year. And today I'm going to read to you from chapter 8 to the end. So here we go. So chapter 8, Geographic. 1. Winding trails. An achingly long journey finds its end. Exhausted knees meet unforgiving ground. A voyage such as this requires some friends. If I don't start with them, they must be found. A weathered wooden treasure chest sits here. Inside, a door which opens at my touch. It holds every emotion, hope and fear and joy and anger, things that are too much. The chest is an illusion, can't you see? The feelings cannot be contained this way. Better to let them out, to walk, to breathe, to find a way to occupy their day. what winding trails I find in adulthood. I do my best to choose a path that's good. 2. Attic behavior. Today I'm moving to a fresh new home. It has large windows that reveal the sky. A place where I will sleep each night alone. A third floor attic bedroom way up high. Each day can be a new start if you choose. Sometimes you need a real geographic. It isn't always the right choice to move, though when it works, it's genuine magic. A home at its core starts inside of you. It lets you expand to your fullest self. If you notice that something else comes through, it's time to send that would be home to hell. An attic with a window opened wide, a sweet spreading smile, eyes becoming bright. 3. Honey yellow. A small green love seat, gray blanket across. The walls, soft lilac, scentless garden blooms. A rack for hanging clothes shows off its gloss. So many details in my new bedroom. A window way up high, no street in view. A low shelf made of bamboo for the plants. Some nooks for books I read when I'm unglued. A low black chest of drawers to hold my pants. A full-length mirror hanging on the door. A linen blanket, warm, honey yellow. There's elbow room for me to become more. Had help moving in from my ex-fellow. A room of one's own, like Ms. Wolfe once said. Of course, the softest memory foam bed. So these, thank you very much, Sam. So these poems were from a time when I had gone through a breakup and was moving into my new home. It was not a very fun time, but I found that writing about it was really helpful. So continuing on. Number 4, night 1. The first night in a new apartment's hard. I've done this part before. I know the deal. Long day of heavy lifting punched my card. Coffee too late keeps my green eyes wide peeled. The bed is comfy, but it's not the same. The traffic sings past at different speed. I focus on the things that I can name. I remember I have all that I need. Sleep does not come so easy on night 1. Traditionally, I enjoy routine, so changing where I live is never fun. At least this time, I'm not new on the scene. Just put each hour of night 1 behind you. Use coping skills. Do what you have to do. 5. Houseplants. My houseplants are learning a fresh window. Their leaves are turning, searching out the sun. They find themselves upon a new table. They have no clue just what it is I've done. Houseplants have understanding unlike mine. Our perspectives don't overlap that much, yet I know that these plants will be just fine under the care of my green thumb's sure touch. The high window invites warm breeze inside. My plants, they get to feel the singing air. I'm here because I failed, although I tried. This is a space I do not have to share. I am just living my days one by one. What beautiful houseplants to be among. 6. Self-soothe. I live somewhere my family can't find. At least the ones related by cold blood. My chosen folks are welcome here, that's fine, but people who lack empathy can stop. Those come no closer than the garden gate. Their scratching claws leave no marks as they wail. No bread and salt for teachers of raw hate. They try to enter, but to no avail. The friendly person sees the path truly, notices a narrow trail to the left, deftly avoids the roughened, roving beasts, so silky and so quiet and so deft. Shadows imperceptible as they move. To enter my kingdom, you will self-soothe. 7. White flag. I'm home. I am home and I'm healing. I'm heavy with hope, but it's worthy weight. I'll help myself to heaping portions, please. I have to taste it all. Fill up my plate. Heave all the windows high, the house exhales. How wide awake we feel in the fresh air. The haze has cleared, the wind will fill our sails. The bed sheets, line-dried crisp, ironed with care. Have you ever held healthy self-regard? Have you looked forward to the open door? Are you holding your head under water? Have you felt some doubt that there can be more? A home so high up over city streets. Hang up the white flag. I am at my ease. Not sure if you can tell, but I was pretty into the idea of living on a third floor apartment as opposed to the first floor I was on before I moved. Seems to be writing a lot about living up high. Um, Continuing on, we are up to chapter 9 in my book, Give It a Home, soon available for purchase through my Ko-Fi site. Coffee, whatever it is. So chapter 9, Alive Again. 1. Crickets. A kitten purrs like crickets as I rest. Its shockingly blue eyes sink sleepy closed. It chirps with simple pleasure on my chest. It has the smallest, delicate gray nose. Now, a big yawn, a mouth of tiny teeth, a lowercase version of what's to come. A softness filled with needles just beneath. Such tiny household god, thy will be done. A lap becomes an afternoon altar, its cloth a blanket woven thick, worn thin. A humble service brushing out your fur. How better to live than to serve your kin. Keep resting, little cricket. We are here to be together, to draw others near. 2. Celebration. How do you know it's time to celebrate? There is no list of pre-approved reasons, just human urge to mark a special day, to feel the turning cycle of seasons. It doesn't have to matter to others. Some holidays are so solitary that they take place under nightly cover, deep in the forest, only for the trees. But other days are meant for gathering, for focusing attention of the crowd on someone going through a transition who did something of which we should be proud. What is a celebration but a pin we drop into the map each time we win? 3. Thomas. My cat seeks my chest like an oasis. He comes to rest there periodically. It seems to bring him comfort to do this, and honestly, it does the same for me. He waits until I lie down flat to rest. A half-hearted side snuggle will not do. He wants to put his kitty heart against, to feel my heartbeat pulse his body through. His little eyes slide shut as I speak slow, assuring him he's my sweet number one. Inshallah, somehow this animal knows he's my best friend underneath the warm sun. I spotted him so tiny in a cage. I brought him home and we turned a new page. 4. Chosen kin. My money and my muscles compounding. I started in the negative, you see. Taught from youth to chase nothing but the ring. Alone upstairs at night, I made it bleed. My addict tunnel vision protection. I could not see the crushing hands above. I told myself somebody has to win. I told myself I didn't deserve love. I stuck an axe into the cliff. It held. I only ever really needed one. They never stole the thing I have to sell. Only cowards raid in the dark with guns. Heartbeat is rising fast, tides coming in, just muscle memory and chosen kin. 5. Expand. Expansion happens one shift at a time. Plate tectonics are not things to be rushed. A volcano is chaos by design, the edge for when you're ready to be pushed. A molten core is meant to be contained. It shrieks at shocking air. It twists its jaw. It becomes something strange, takes a new name. There's no excuse for ignorance of law. First safe, then red, then black, then steaming cool. The rain comes, makes it irreversible. Unwilling to compress into a jewel, more likely to float, so impossible. Expansion comes, how will the cells divide? The lava never does get to decide. 6. Self-care. Today, I did a lot of good self-care. I went to visit my psychiatrist. I reached out to a friend and said, hey there. I found a way to unclench my tight fist. I bought a pretty lip gloss just because, in hopes that I might get kissed once again. I ate rich Japanese barbecue sauce all over fried rice cooked to perfection. I smoked a blunt and let my mind wander. I did some yoga barefoot in the park. I watched the clouds, heart filled up with sonder, as folks passed by and dogs did their proud barks. I filled the day with tender, gentle prayer, carried the warmth of the sun in my hair. Thank you so much for joining, Sam. Thank you so much for Teresa for joining. Thank you so much for everyone else who's here right now. Um, Reading from my book, Give It a Home. I'm going to have some signed copies of that available in my shop very soon. So as soon as those are available for purchase, I will let you all know. Continuing on, right now I'm reading from chapter 9. And this is poem number 6, titled Self Care. Oops, I just read that one. Just kidding. On to poem number 7, Hot Girl. Forget about the hot girl summer, friends. It's hot girl sonnet era. I say so. When I get invitations, I attend. When pulsing beats get loud, I drop it low. The thing that makes this era something new is that I'm present, achingly aware. I'm healed, I'm whole, I'm feeling way less blue. My body feels like something I can share. The hot girl sonnet era starts today. My first goal, go outside in a crop top and trust that everything will be okay, that no one will tell me I have to stop. My body is just fine and so am I. It's time to show some skin off to the sky. 8. Salted ground. Let my heels never leave the earth again, unless they're running over sun-warmed grass. No more stilettos to my tender skin. Those pinching narrow toes can kiss my ass. It's not supposed to hurt to walk around. Foot binding's not as long gone as we think. I will not plant my soles in salted ground. We should not feel pain right up to the brink. Our toes go through enough already, friend. I hand you a small note so secretly. Come witness how our imprisonment ends. The key cutter is hard at work, you see. The garden can be sweetened once again. Persistence in seeds and women will win. 9. The goose and the sheep. I used to be a stupid, silly goose, so high above it all, flying alone. I used to prioritize staying loose, no deep friendships, grew up in a bad home. My silly goose eyes dove groundward one day. They spotted savvy sheep grazing below, pastoral munching, seeking the good hay, just easy existence, no need for show. I plucked my goose feathers and grew some wool. I learned that some fierce dogs can be our friends. I started once again just like the fool. The cycle will repeat until it ends. I had to choose to be a savvy sheep. Requirement, featherless, purposeful leap. 10. Cloud break. I lived a few decades underneath clouds. I learned not to see how low slung they sat. That ceiling seemed the most I was allowed, but then I had a year that changed all that. The clouds opened, a sudden pouring rain. Sky screamed itself empty over my head. I ran until I drowned, then rose again. I let my family leave me for dead. A calm period of quiet, of soft peace. A storm cannot rage all day, it must end. A cloud break, this time sunshine through the trees. I raised my eyes, body embraced by friends. Warm honey all around, summer is here. The storm is over, now release the fear. 11. Covenant. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, isn't it? My life so particularly richer for learning what comes after ellipsis. A path is worn by daily intention. I cannot fake the muscle memory. To love someone sails beyond all reason. Be sure to stock the ship for all your needs. The water has been poisoned, but it's fine. My blood is healthy. It is here to serve. The cup will pass from your hand into mine, then back again. We share what we deserve. Two dagger-slit palms, crimson mingled clasp. The things we need are here within our grasp. 12. Eyes to see. My hands are eyes to see in darkened rooms. My lashes rest together on my cheeks. There's never been a tenant in my womb. If I have my way, there won't ever be. My hands are toys for joy, they bring delight. 10-fingered songs played upon blushing skin. Sleep with me so deeply all through the night. Rest up against me as the sun grows dim. The morning sun will warm our dozing limbs, unrolling like a carpet at our feet. My lashes part to allow sun within. You've been a magical creature to meet. A softening pleasure seeker am I. I turn to find a yearning new sunrise. 13. Wingspan. I'm done with all the birds with broken wings. I can't fly with that flock. I'm healed and whole. I'm bored with all the lovers who won't sing. I won't pretend that I don't have a soul. I'm done with thinking that I want too much. I won't hear that I'm taking too much space. I can't believe how long I used a crutch when I could always walk so tall with grace. I'm done reaching for hands that don't crave me. I didn't know that I should be sought out. I want my heart to pound, but not to bleed. I want someone who makes their feelings loud. A bird spreads gloriously broad wingspan. Keep up with me, my lover, if you can. And this is the last poem in the book, titled Tiny Little Tome. One day I'll print a small poetry book, enough copies to justify the cost. Design so sharp you'll take a second look. Replace it if you find out that it's lost. Sized just so to fit inside back pockets. I want to travel with you as my words. Please let me ride along on your next trip, be with you as you navigate life's turns. A tiny book can be a good buddy. In times when your phone battery goes dead, my little book of poetry will be cool palm against you, soothing sweaty head. One day I'll print a tiny little tome. Tell me, do you think you'd give it a home? Thank you so much to everyone who joined today. Keep your eyes peeled for Give It a Home, which will be available through Barnes & Noble Press, and I will also have some signed copies available through my own site. If you enjoyed what you saw today, I am releasing these as a podcast, so if you're interested in that, go check out thelizzycoshow.com and slide on over to the Live with Lizzy tab to get involved with those episodes. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time for some more afternoon poetry. Bye.